Hello everybody and welcome to the Astroflower collective reading. It's going to be sort of like a mid-July reading after the apply in July for the monthly. There was something coming through within the third week and I want to examine what it is. I'm also going to be doing a timestamp all signs version of this, which will be coming out on Wednesday night. To see how it affects you in your individual sign, because we all confront life differently. But signs tend to confront them in particular ways, collectively. So we'll be looking at that. But first of all, we'll be going into the collective change, or this thing that's coming through at the moment that seems to be affecting us. I thought it was, in applying July, I thought it was much more on the material side rather than on the relationship side. And it was all about applying your joy in July, which came from Joyous June. Learning about what joy is, basically. It seems like we've forgotten sometimes what joy happens to be. It's very simple. It's not complicated. It's within all of us. And it's a case of just being joyous and applying it in your life. I've started up a little thing here where I'm challenging everyone just to say hello to someone who you happen to cross in the street, and you cross eyes, not cross eyes like that, but, you fix eyes on the other person as they're going past and just sort of say, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, cool, me, I'm doing fine, lovely to see you." But you don't even have to stop. You just, you don't want to go into depth, because that would seem a bit weird, wouldn't it? But just sort of saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Just recognising that you've seen them, they've seen you, and, making sure they're okay. I think it could change the world. So I'm challenging everyone to say hello to someone at least once a week, if not every day. Try it out. See how you get on. I don't mean go up to people and sort of kind of go up to them, disturb them and kind of go, "Are you all right?" Because obviously that would be weird. So it's trying to encourage that good vibration, basically. I nearly broke into song there. Good, 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 good vibrations. So yeah, let's get that good vibration going. Let's just see what's going on in the collective. The influence on the universe and the situation, a karmic path for the situation, relationship sides and material side. This is how like our ancestors or our past selves are influencing us, and this is how our future selves are influencing us, and what the general sort of outcome is going to be doing on this. We're just going to do, as I say, a quick reading here, pulling a tarot. Hope we have a lovely reading. I'm so glad you're here, and the support you give this channel is absolutely blistering. I love it dearly. Three of Cups. Look at that. The Three of Cups. It's like, I think it's encouraging this apply your joy in July, basically. Apply in July. So basically, as us as individuals, there is a situation which is allowing a big coming together. A celebration in a way. It's almost, I almost get a feeling like it's kind of like everyone's giving a big sigh of relief. Just kind of going, "Oh, right, cool. Excellent. Oh, I'm glad that got sorted. Wow, that's opened up a lot of possibilities. Yeah, this is great," sort of thing. That's the sort of vibe I get off it. And it, will it be, mainline news? Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure what comes across the news these days can be determined as news. You have your own point of view. I don't actually watch the news or listen to it. I listen to sort of nature, tarot, spirit. I observe physically with my eyes. I observe magnetic fields. So I'm looking at auras and energy. That is my guiding thing. That's telling me what's going on. So sometimes I am a little bit disconnected with the world around me. But here I think it is the overall energy it's a celebration. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy. It could be a case of like, something that goes wrong within the electrical system that puts pay to all sort of debt. That's going to encumber, there's going to be a celebration by a lot of people kind of going, "Great, got no more debt." But at the same time, it's going to create a lot of problems. So, you know, and it may seem like a catastrophic thing. It may be portrayed as that, but it could be a good opportunity to change a lot of things. Who knows? It's that sort of thing I'm sort of saying here. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing. But it's the overall energy here should be a sense of relief. On our karmic mission, on our relationship side, we get the High Priestess. I think this is a case of what is coming through for us here. You've got to be in tune with yourself. Before you can be in tune with energy around you, you've got to be in tune with yourself. The moment you are in tune with yourself, it becomes evident and clear what you should be doing. I trust you. I trust what you do. I trust you to live life, and I live it fully according to what you feel, what you see, etc. I'm not here to judge you of what you do is right or wrong. I may not agree with some of what you do. You may not agree with some of what I do, which is normal. That is okay. But it doesn't mean I have to go around, you know, causing problems because I don't agree with you. You know, and it's living the truth, or being that piece of the puzzle of the jigsaw, and finding your place in the whole thing. I think that's what it's all about here. In regards to relationships, it's following your intuition, how you see the world, how you interact with the world. The universe is trying to bring in lots of messages. I think this is very true. I think this is a massive message coming in for the human race, coming for planet Earth. And this is why I was talking about solar activity as well. That possibly what could be it. I will actually say that these concern the dates between the 15th and the 25th of July more than anything else. What happens after that is going to be quite fantastical, I think. But there seems to be like a shift in the wind that's coming. And this comes through with communication, with inspiration on our relationship side. So it opens up the doors of communication of how we're perceiving the world. So I would explain to you how I perceive things. And then you can explain to me how you perceive things. And I'm sure between us, we can get a much better vision of how things are than, you know, as we do as an individual. And I think the universe is encouraging communications in order to see the clarity of the messages that are being brought forward to us. Our past selves are sort of saying, time to get on, time to plant those seeds, time to, time to move on, basically. Time to get down to the nitty gritty and start doing it. You know, start living, start being with other people. By the way, I'm at my mum and dad's place again, my parents' place. I come around here regularly. I've been travelling a bit. It's raining badly in the UK with thunderstorms, so I haven't taken the risk of reading this outside, or else I'd never get it done. So I'm inside. I'm trying to give you a glimpse of the garden that is behind me. It's absolutely beautiful for those of you concerned. I know that. And I've got two little lovers that are next to me. So I've got Joe and Dave. Dave is sitting there, isn't you, Dave? All right, mate. You all right? Lovely. Yeah. So Joe and Dave is with us. Anyway, back to the collective reading. Yes, I think our past guides are sort of saying, okay, come on, get over our differences. I think this is what they're sort of saying. Get over our differences and let's get to work. Let's work on our complicities. Let's work on the things that tie into one another. Our future selves are sort of saying, get ready to see things in a different light. This is the information that is coming through. And I don't think, as I said, I don't think it comes in through like a statement. I think it comes in through multifaceted. It's the feeling, it's the zeitgeist, it's what's going on in nature, it's what's going on in the humans, it's what's going on in the solar system, it's what's going on the earth. I think the messages are multiplied and multiple. And this is asking us in a spiritual sort of sense, because this is our relationship side, in a spiritual sort of sense, in our future, and as we're coming out of this, to actually see things differently. So we can actually start working towards our common grounds, wherever they find, and stop highlighting our differences. basically. I think that's really, it's going to help to sort of galvanize that Three of Cups sort of things. It's going to bring healing, and I think it's going to bring healing in the spiritual sense, the emotional sense, the relationship sense. It's going to make life easier to have honest, simple relationships with one another, with your neighbor, with the people that you walk down the street, trusting one another, feeling that we're all part of this human race together and we're all in the same boat, rich, poor, you know, doesn't matter what religion or origins you're from, whatever, who cares? You know, we're in the same boat as cats, dogs, elephants, you know, fleas. We're all in the same boat. And that boat is planet Earth. And once that drops, that little idea drops in your head, you're kind of going, right, okay, well, in that case, let's join in. Let's join in the fun. And that's what's going to bring around a lot of healing, a lot of possibility of feeling at home, no matter where you are or no matter what you're doing. And respecting one another, regardless of what they do as a job, you know, what they do as a business, what they do as a way of their relationship. Who cares? You know, as long as, you know, it's not detrimental and we're working towards common ground. I think that's what the main thing is with us, you know. So in the relationship side, that's where it comes through. I'm going to be interested to see how it happens on the material side. Let's see what's going on our karmic. This has come out on everybody's reading. If you're watching this and this is coming out in your reading, you know what I'm going to say. The devil is in the detail. And this is so true here. It's the smaller stuff. This is what I was talking about, where there's information coming through from multitudes of different directions. And it's putting it all together. And that's a little bit like the high priestess. That's how we do it spiritually. Materialistically, and this could be to do with finances. This could be to do with the ecological system. This could be to do with technology. The devil is in the fine detail of how the little things go together. And I think we were learning about this. This could have like a domino effect. So you could lose one little thing, which could then mean that we lose another aspect. So you could lose a satellite, which could then say like you lose the communication in one area of the world, which has a knock-on effect in the rest of the world. And, you know, so I think this is where the devil is in the detail. I think it's also a case of learning about home truths, about ourselves, about our planet, about our solar system. I really think it's got something to do with the planet and the solar system. But that's my own personal bent on it. We'll see what the cards come out of this. Let's see how the universe is affecting us. So we've got on this side, we've got the Eight of Wands. Lots of lovely messages coming through. And on the material side, we have the Eight of Swords. I think this ties into the idea that we've been stuck in a way of doing things for a very long time. And I'm talking thousands of years here. That's since we started farming, we had something to defend. Therefore, that created conflict. If you go into caves and see cave drawings, they must exist. But I've never known of an existence of cave drawings showing humans fighting humans. I don't think we're naturally like that, really. I think we're tribal. Yeah, sure. That's not a problem. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to beat the other tribe over the head or they have to beat you over the head. I think here is we're breaking free from a chained materialistic sort of way of being. And I don't necessarily mean of sort of kind of going, get rid of all money and everything like that. I think money will take a second seat in the future, yes, but it's still a very good way of doing an exchange between things. It's a good way of bartering. And I think it's a natural thing that it naturally happens, even if it's just exchanging goods. It's a form of bartering. So, you know, I don't think it's that, but I think it's a case of, you know, changing of how we interact with all of this. And I was talking about this in the past with to do with the solstice readings and the equinox readings and the eclipse readings and everything like that. I've been talking about this logical revolution that's coming our way, and it is coming our way fast. We are there. Well, actually, we're in there at the moment, and I think this is almost like the universe which has given the seal of approval to go ahead. Our past selves are sort of saying, Page of Pentacles. We've got the Knight of Pentacles over one side now. We've got the Page of Pentacles over the other. This is about creating a new pathway, creating a new luck, creating a new sort of way of dealing with our finances or with the exchange that we might have on the work level. But it's, I think it's much more that side. I'm just trying to see if there's anything sort of like to do with the ecological system that comes out of this. Maybe it's a change of vibration that's coming from the sun. We know now that there are different particles coming from the sun that were coming from before. It's scientific. And we've seen that in many studies. We've seen the changes aspects of the sun. We've seen the changing aspects of the magnetic field. And this could create a new vibration, which gives us a new opportunity to evolve in a different way. In regards to how we interact with that energy on a materialistic basis. And I think our past selves are sort of saying, we have the seeds in order to plant, but we need to get on and plant them between us. And the nature is bringing in that change. It's bringing in those changes, I think. Our future selves, we get the star. I was saying that I think there might be something to do with the sun, solar events and stuff like that. So look out for solar events. I will be trying to post a lot more on Cymatic TV, my other channel, which is a lot more to do with energy. I wanted to concentrate on the Astroflower first. It seems to like you lovely people are making this project possible. So I can now start on the other side, which is all to do with energy. And this is could well be about the sun coming in, giving us a bit of a heads up as to how fragile the Earth is and the ecological system is from energies from the outside world, from the outside of the globe, as it were, within the solar system. Don't forget about what's going on in the universe, just within the solar system. I also think here is that there is something that's information coming through, which is a bit of sort of thing. It's almost as if like it may be a case of knocking out satellites or something like that. There could be a volcano that goes on that creates problems for air traffic or whatever and stuff like that. But also at the same time, it's going to be contributing to the CO2 in the atmosphere. The volcanoes, which could change the environment and change the situation that we're living at the moment. But what I'm getting, so from the satellites is more sort of how we interact with one another through a system of governance and finance. And what it's almost as if it feels like there's like it's coming to a stage where we're drawing a line and kind of going, okay, from this point here, what do we want to do? And there's something that comes from the outside. We're seeing the clarification. There's something that comes from the outside which forces our hand in a way, I think. And it forces our hand in order for us to actually go forth and, head for our dreams and aspirations. Talking about dreams and aspirations, we get the Page of Swords. So we've got 2 pages on this side now. And I think this is where, the page opens the path for the knights to secure the path for the king and queen to come through. And I think here is all to do with ideas, inspiration that comes into us as individuals, how we can apply it to the collective, which then naturally creates a collective materialistic system. Or a redefining of how we do governance and finances and everything like that. That's what it's coming in. And so it's looking at those ideas, allowing us to discuss those ideas and explore those ideas and see how it sits with us going in the future. So that looks really nice. Let's just go on to the clarification with the Light Seers card. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your support for this channel, subscribing, liking, sharing, all of those sort of things. You can also find links in the description below to buy me a coffee. I drink tea, thank you very much, but you can buy me a cup of coffee, but I'll spend it on a cup of tea. You know, there's also links to private readings, which you can choose the formula that corresponds to you and book up with the links in the description. So thank you very much for your support and all your everything you do and helping, you know, this logical revolution take place, because it's going to change the way we live and it's going to be brilliant. I think it's going to be brilliant for our kids. I think personally, I'm contributing to it. I reckon we're going to get there. So with the Three of Cups, we get the Magician. It's all about creating. It's creating those connections, celebrating the connections that we have with one another, which will inspire us to manifest even more. Once we get the taste of it, you know, kind of going, wow, this is really good. This really works. Let's see, you know, where can we take this? How far can we go with this? So I think this is that, you know, manifestation energy that's coming through. Let's just see what we get from for the High Priestess. We get the Moon. She has those 3 phases of the moon on her. She learns about, the High Priestess has this quality of understanding the flows of energy, which then galvanizes into a form of intuition that we can feel or see within images or hear. Many people, you know, sort of define it in many different ways. You know, for some people it can be auditives, other people can be visuals, other people can be all of it together. There's many different ways. But I think the moon here is being open to the unknown, and it ties a little bit into the Hangman here, being open to not just the unknown, but examining things and seeing things clearly. I think that's what, in regards to relationships between us all, I think that's what's karmically we've got to do here. We've got to see things in a different light, and you know, you can't be scared to look at things and kind of go, yeah, actually, you know. And other things go, actually, no. You know, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Everybody will find their level. With the 8 of Wands, we get the 9 of Cups. This is really beautiful. So through this information, through this communication coming through from the universe, and this is where it comes through a vibration that change within the solar system, as far as I can see. It's going to provide an opportunity of lots of gifts and possibilities. I think one of those gifts is healing, but I also think seeing things differently, of how we can actually use our spirit in the world around us, manifesting things, really shamanistic in a way. You know, and I believe shaman work is you should never charge for shaman work. Never, ever. If a shaman is charging you to do something, then that's not what shamanism is. Shamanism is working with every element that is around you for the greater good. And you do it in your own time. That's what a shaman does. I do it every day in my conversations with nature, with trees, with everything. And just, you know, where can I contribute into that situation? That's what shamanism, for me, is all about. That's my definition. You know, this is what I'm saying. We may not necessarily agree on everything, but we can agree that shamanism is great. I think that's what we can agree on. So it's using those opportunities, using that sort of joy and that inspiration and those possibilities to really manifest something that's amazing within us. The Knight of Pentacles, we get the Queen of Swords. I think this is where we have a control over emotions, and we start heading off in a direction and creating these connections between us all in regards to getting on and doing. And I think the vision has been there for us. And this is what our past selves are trying to sort of say. We know the vision. You know it is within you. It's inherent within you. It's a natural thing to do. So now it's inherent within you. You've just got to start expressing it and living it. With the Hangman, you get the 7 of Wands. This is interesting. Sometimes it's a bit like defending yourself and stuff like that. I think it's basically, you know, you got one wand there that's trying to burst the bubble that you're sat in. And you're sat in your confidence because the other ones, 6 of them, is your success. So you're sitting nicely in your success of how great you feel with yourself. That is the main thing. Then how do you apply that brilliant, that great sensation to the world around you? Once you start doing that, there is going to be maybe, 1 or 2 out of 100 that's not going to be happy with you being happy. And, until they get it, there always will be a little bit always upset. But once we start living that and start going in that sort of direction, all of a sudden, no one is, people will go with the flow and eventually. And they will start learning to actually enjoy life. So I think it's a case of here with the 7 of Swords is, seeing things completely differently. Yes, true. But sticking to that original plan, that eternal plan that is within the human race, or the human being within this planet, and to find our absolute oneness with the planet that is around us. And I'm talking at oneness with everything, not just other humans, you know what I mean, but with everything. With the 4 of Swords, you get the 4 of Cups. So, don't look to the past, look to the future. That's where your healing is going to come from. We're not here to judge. Whatever's gone in the past is gone in the past. Whatever has happened in the past should not be forgotten, regardless of whether, in the future we regard that as good or bad. It should help us to understand what we shouldn't be doing and what we should be doing. It's as simple as that, I think. By looking at the past, I wouldn't erase anything from the past. I wouldn't try and change or recompensate for anything from the past. All I would start doing is actually start kind of going, okay, from the past, that was pretty bad. Let's just start respecting one another. Let's start by that. Once we start doing that, things will level out very, very quickly if there is any inharmony within the system. Personally within my life, I'm pretty much in harmony with everything that goes around me. I'm constantly talking to people, enjoying myself. I'm just doing a documentary at the moment as well, which should be going on the television. So it might be on Netflix or another sort of program. So I'm doing that at the moment. But I'm trying to provoke this whole idea that actually there's common grounds no matter who we are and where we come from, and that's where we should be working towards. The moment we start doing that, technologically, we could really advance, really advance. And it could be to the beneficial to everything, not just humans, beneficial to everything, without having to have a massive surveillance and control system on it, because we would have learned trust. Because if we have to have a surveillance control system, it's who decides on that surveillance and control. That's the problem we're going to get. And it's always going to be divisive. We've got to start learning how to trust one another. Look to the future, healing, oneness, and living together. It's going to be great. I guarantee it. Right, let's just see what's going on the financial side. Look at that. Devil in the detail. I think this is what the overall energy is trying to flush out. How we connect to one another. How we see the devil in the detail. See what is going down between each of us individually, collectively, what's going down between us and nature and etc. Realizing that we don't have control over the earth or the solar system, and to think we do is, personally, I think it's a bit mental. The idea that we can actually think we can control a whole planetary system is just so ludicrous. It's unbelievable. So, I think there's things that we do is detrimental. I totally get that. And I wouldn't do them. But there is also other things that we've got to see things in a different light. We've got to see the detail of everything and refuse to sort of saying, we're not going to look at this. We're not going to look at that. Because there's certain aspects of the climate that we don't look at. And I think that's to our own detriment in the future. And I think we should. And it's okay to be wrong. My old channel, I used to have a phrase that said, it's okay to be wrong, But it's not okay to not participate. Because when you get something wrong, we shouldn't beat that person over the head. Oh, you got it wrong. Yeah, no. We should kind of go, oh, thank you very much for getting that wrong, because now we understand how we get it right. You've been an intricate part in getting the success of the human race. That's the attitude we got to start doing and start applying it in July. Let's just see what this Eight of Swords is freeing ourselves up. I think this is coming past the patience. We've moved on now, and we understand that I think with the universe is sort of saying the time of being patient is over. The time to break ourselves free is now. And I don't think it's a case of any having to, beat another thing in order to make ourselves free. I think it's just a case of just standing out and saying, no, I'm not going to participate in that anymore. Yeah, I'm off. I'm doing something else. I'm heading in that direction. Because that direction there, we all seem to get on. We have a lot of respect for one another, and we look after each other. Why not? Yeah, it may mean that Jane or Billy is a lot more, is financially a lot more better off than me because they've done really good work. And I've been happy just sort of like not doing a lot of work, but just enjoying my relationships around me. I don't want a Ferrari, but I do want to be able to sort of go out and enjoy myself with the people that are naturally around me. And, but if you want to drive a Ferrari, then, knock your socks out. But don't ask me for pay for it, and don't ask me for tax cuts in order for you to get it. Do you know what I mean? It's just being blatantly respectful between one another. And I think this is coming to an end of some form of system that we've been having, or it's coming to an end of. And it is with justice. It is with, I think there is something that's come through from the past here that's bringing us to a point of judgment, of justice, of karmic justice in a way, but also harmony. And I think with this new path, that physical new path that we're actually developing here from our past, and we've been opening up these doors, it's now brought us to a stage where we should be able to recognize through our intuition, through our feelings, through our connection to everything, what is working and what doesn't work. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty logical, really. And the things that are not working, probably don't keep doing them. And start doing the things that do really work. On an everyday basis. I'm talking every day here. Between you and your neighbour and the collective, your local village or your local town or your local area you live in, the city. I've had the chance to live I grew up in London. I lived in a national park in the south of the UK when I was sort of 17, and then moved to France. And I've had a fortunate life to sort of see every different aspect of the way we live. I've lived in really dodgy parts of London. They've been absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed them, and lived in sort of small hamlets as well, where it's every house is owned by the same person. Or the same family, as it were, and it's, I've had a fortunate life like that, and I thank you for that. It's been very enjoyable, and I think this is where it comes into this justice. It's realizing that we deserve better. We deserve this, this new thing that's coming through. With the Star, we get the Two of Swords. I think it is a difficult choice. It is like a real leap of faith, much bigger leap of faith than we actually realise. But if we open our hearts and start going forward with a very joyous aspect within us, I don't think it's going to be that difficult a choice to make, because it's going to be obvious what we should be doing. It's going to make us leaders in the collective consciousness without being a leader that everyone follows behind. I don't think that is the way to go. I think it needs to be the collective consciousness, the way you realise and how you feel your energy. So your energy is going through your body. Your body is a beautiful instrument that if you start talking to your body and not just your mind, that's the logic, your mind. But once you get into your body and start listening to your heart and start listening to your stomach, listening to your ovaries, listening to your liver, your skin, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, everything apart from that noggin, yeah, then they sort, that sort of energy is your heart energy, your stomach energy, or your solar plexus energy, your throat energy, all of that sort of, your sacrum, all of that sort of sorts out a lot of stuff before it gets up there. So when it gets up there, the logic, this energy here only has to go, okay, the heart says this, the solar plexus says this. In that case, logically, we should be just doing this. That's all you need to do. And I think this is where it's going to become very difficult. It's difficult to do the first step. I understand that. It really is difficult to do. But once you do it and start with small things, once we do it and we start with small things, it becomes so obvious that it's no longer a difficult choice to do. And I think this is where we can really open the portal to something that, we can look to our forefathers, mothers, mothers, and our future children and say, yeah, man, we took the opportunity and we did it. Yeah, why not? We seized on that energy coming through. With the Page of Swords, we get the Five of Pentacles. Could it be money loss? I think this thing coming through of what I said, it could be affecting the financial system, and it could be like an eruption from the sun that sort of knocks out a few satellites, creates problems within the financial system. I would be wary of groups, and regardless of whether that's businesses, governance, or fashions, or groups of people trying to emphasize the differences between us. I think these ideas and the inspirations that's coming through the Page of Swords is bringing us together and bringing people in from the cold that might have been ostracized in the past and saying, we don't necessarily agree with your point of view, but that's fine. But actually, we know you're part of the human race and we'd like you to be part of the solution. And, to be part of the solution, we're going to listen to you. I'm going to hear you. You've got to listen to me. You've got to hear me. And collectively, as an individual, we don't need to vote on this. We just need to do individually. Apply in July. The moment we start applying, all of a sudden, I think we have the beauty with this card here is the 5 is a point between the beginning and the end. It's the middle. And we have the key to our future. And if we stop pointing at our own personal weaknesses, but also the weaknesses of others, all of a sudden we have the key to opening up that doorway, which is going to open up to an absolute beautiful future, I think. So overall, in this thing that's coming through between the 25th, the 15th and the 25th, I think it's multifaceted. I think it comes through the human race. I think it comes through nature itself. I think it comes through the financial or governance systems within the human race. But it also comes through the acceptance or the willingness to be involved in a community and being part of the community. I think it's going to be, that's what's going to come out of it. And it's going to be a movement that builds continuously. On the material side, on the financial side, I think this is where we have an opportunity to change the way in which we apply our own systems outside of the nature system on the human system, the human matrix system. We have a choice here or a possibility to take another road. And it could be absolutely brilliant. And it will bring, as I say, a lot more harmony within the interaction that humans have on a very materialistic level. Absolutely beautiful. I've got the timestamps readings that are coming out tomorrow night for each individual sign and how you as an individual sign interact with that energy going through. So I will see you over there for that. Don't forget, thank you. Well, I'd like to thank you first for, subscribing, liking, sharing, and everything like that. It's been absolutely brilliant. Really do appreciate it. It's an amazing journey, and I'm glad you're part of it. I'm glad you're part of the Astroflower family. I do reply at the moment to every single comment that is made. I do like replying. Obviously, once I get to a level where if I'm getting thousands and thousands, it's going to be very difficult. But I do at least read all the comments as well. So I really do thank you for your participation, and for all those people who have taken those first steps and following, some of the guidance I'm giving you, and you're coming back with some really good results. It's just absolutely lovely to hear. Thank you very much for being part of this experience. It's absolutely beautiful. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.